Ladies and gentlemen, Metro Mike, coming to you from flyover country, and I'm bringing you today's edict in common sense, logic, and fact. So if you're a journalist and you don't understand what I'm talking about, it's because I'm going to back my issues up with fact. If you're from the East Coast or the West Coast and you're a liberal, you don't understand what I'm talking about, it's because I'm using common sense and logic. Okay? So today's fatherly hard love is going to go out to our good friends, Black America. If you like what I'm saying, pass it on to your friends. I hope everybody sees this. So Black America, Joe Biden comes out and says that if you don't vote for Joe Biden, you're not black. Well, more about that in a minute. And I see that we have a bunch of cities that are tearing down statues and trying to erase everything because of the stigma. The stigma of slavery is attached to these Confederate statues. That history needs to be erased because of the stigma. Well, guess what, guys? The thing that bothers me the most is the biggest symbol of slavery still exists and is also being supported by 90% of the black vote, and that is the Progressive Democrat Party. So here's some facts to hit you with, guys. Slavery was owned by the Democrats. The Democrats were the ones that owned the slaves in the South. The first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln, abolished slavery in 1865. He was a Republican, guys. Whenever we had Jim Crow, that was Democrats. Ku Klux Klan sprang from Democrats. George Wallace symbolically stood in front of the University of Alabama to block black people from coming to that university. Democrat. Strom Thurmond filibustered for 23 hours in front of the Senate to stop desegregation. He wanted black people and white people separated. Strom Thurmond. Robert KKK Byrd, Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, Democrat. Okay, big racist. Margaret Sanger, who was the founder of Planned Parenthood, thought black people were weeds, according to her writings. She said black people were like weeds and needed to be culled or cut out of any population they were in. She wanted an abortion clinic in every black neighborhood. Guess who was the most recent winner of the Margaret Sanger Award and who proudly wore that mantle? Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton knows that Margaret Sanger was a racist and hated black people, but she still loved to get that award. She's laughing at you guys. Registered Republican Martin Luther King Jr. and the Republican Party helped push the Civil Rights Voting Act against the wishes of the Democrats. But once they managed to get that done, once it got through, the Democrats flipped the switch on you guys. Now they were your greatest friends, and for the last 60 years they've been hosing you while acting like your friends. You talk about systematic racism? Guess what, guys? Who runs the police departments in all these cities that you're saying systematic racism? I don't know if it exists, but if it does, you're talking about police unions that are all cozy with the Democrat Party, the Progressive Democrat Party, and these police unions. And because the police unions now are so strong, they don't get rid of the rotten apples. Neither do the teachers' unions, also cozied up to the Progressive Democrat Party. They don't get rid of the rotten apples. You got rubber rooms all over the country with people who have sexually assaulted students, but they won't fire them because they're in the union. Now you got police officers who are like this crap bag who did this thing to George Floyd, who still have a job. Why? Because the police unions don't get rid of them. Why? Because the Democrats negotiated the contract. So if there is systematic racism, guys, it's the party that you keep voting into power. Why? Black unemployment was at 29% when Barack Obama was in office at one point. Black unemployment was the lowest ever recorded under Trump. Do the math. Do the math. When the DNC was hacked under Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the Democrat operatives were saying, oh, the black people were just useful idiots. So now, you guys continue to vote in the party, the Progressive Democrat now / Communist Party, who owned all the slaves and now who owns the black vote. At what point are you guys going to get smart? Anybody who voices an opinion who's contrary, any black person who comes up and voices a contrary opinion is ostracized. So when Joe Biden says that if you don't vote for him, you're not black, what he's saying is you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You have upset the master of the house. You are supposed to fall in line and do what you're supposed to do. That's what Joe Biden is saying. So I hope you guys straighten up and smarten up, because you're being used. And guess what? Not for long, because what do you think the Progressive Democrat Party is doing right now? They're doing everything they can to support our good friends, the illegal aliens. Because the illegal aliens are about to take your spot, and have already done so in a lot of ways, in the mind of the Progressive Democrat Party. So, 90% of you guys should wake up and smell the coffee, because the Progressive Democrat / Communist Party is not your friend. That's all for now. We out.